But nobody knows what really happened with Nicole Kidman.
I was running from my life.
Over 2 decades later, people are still looking for answers.
Was it a fairy tale or was it all in our heads?
All I will say is it's been awful.
February 5th, 2001. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman announced their separation after 10 years of marriage, shocking Hollywood and fans worldwide. 2 days later, Tom files for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. For years, everyone blamed Tom. Nicole got the sympathy. She was photographed leaving her lawyer's office with her arms raised, looking free. The media painted him as the cold Hollywood star who abandoned his devoted wife.
I was in a lot of pain. Your whole life collapses around you.
Divorce is a really tough thing to go through, and it leaves you shaken, and your whole foundation is sort of a mess.
And you've got to somehow learn to be alone, and that was not what I was good at.
But the real story is far more complicated than anyone knew. According to former Scientology executives and investigative reports, this wasn't a marriage that simply fell apart. Multiple sources claim the Church of Scientology saw Nicole Kidman as a threat from the moment she met Tom Cruise. Former members allege the organization monitored her, worked to drive a wedge between the couple, and ultimately influenced the outcome. The truth about why Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman divorced involves an organization that former insiders say couldn't tolerate a woman who questioned their influence over their biggest celebrity member. In 1989, Tom Cruise watched an Australian thriller called Dead Calm and became obsessed with its 21-year-old star Nicole Kidman. He was so captivated that he convinced producers to cast her as his love interest in Days of Thunder. There was just one problem: Tom was married to actress Mimi Rogers, the woman who'd introduced him to Scientology. According to multiple accounts, that problem was quickly resolved. Former Scientology official Marty Rathbun has stated that he, accompanied by a church attorney, served Rogers with divorce papers.
I remember walking in, I remember being so nervous and seeing Tom Cruise drive up in a Porsche, and he got out of the car and walked through, and I was like, oh, it obviously changed my life extraordinarily.
And falling in love on the set.
The rest is history.
I've heard the story.
Years later, Nicole described that period simply: "I fell madly, passionately in love, and as happens when you fall in love, my whole plan in terms of what I wanted for my life, I was like, forget it, this is it." They married on December 24th, 1990. Tom was 28, Nicole was 23. For the next decade, they appeared to be Hollywood's golden couple. They co-starred in films, walked red carpets together, and adopted 2 children, Isabella in 1992 and Connor in 1995. From the outside, their marriage looked perfect. But according to Lawrence Wright's book, Going Clear, and testimonies from former church members, there were complications brewing beneath the surface.
Was Nicole a Scientologist?
Nick loved me. My feeling is that she became involved because she loved me, and I never forced it on her.
Nicole Kidman had what former Scientology executives describe as 3 significant problems in the church's eyes. First, her father, Dr. Anthony Kidman, was a prominent psychologist in Australia. The Church of Scientology has a well-documented opposition to psychiatry and psychology, blaming these fields for societal harm. Mike Rinder, a former senior executive in the church, explained, "In the eyes of Scientology, psychiatry is seen as the root of mankind's problems, and anybody connected to that field is viewed with suspicion." Nicole always had this cloud hanging over her head because of her father's profession. Second, her Catholic upbringing. Nicole was raised Catholic and had even considered joining a convent before pursuing acting. For an organization demanding total devotion, this presented ideological conflicts. Third, according to multiple sources, Nicole participated in Scientology primarily to support Tom rather than from genuine belief. She studied for 2 years and reached OT level 2. Her auditor, Bruce Hines, confirmed she was really dedicated during that period. But Mike Rinder offered a contrasting view. Nicole never expressed particular eagerness for her Scientology courses. The implication from former members, she was going through the motions for her husband. Then came the tipping point. In 1991, Time magazine published a devastating cover story, calling Scientology the thriving cult of greed and power. According to Wright's reporting, this article crystallized Nicole's doubts, and former members claim she began encouraging Tom to distance himself from the organization. For Scientology leader David Miscavige, this reportedly created alarm. Tom Cruise was their most visible advocate, and his wife was allegedly working to pull him away. Between 1998 and 1999, Tom and Nicole spent 15 months in London filming Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. According to former Scientology officials, During this period, Tom became less responsive to church communications, at one point reportedly ignoring David Miscavige's calls. Former members described this as a critical moment when Nicole saw an opening to encourage Tom to further distance himself from Scientology. But according to Marty Rathbun's claims in Going Clear, the church responded with a surveillance operation. Rathbun alleged that he worked with Tom's attorney to hire private investigator Anthony Pellicano, who was later convicted on separate wiretapping charges, to monitor Nicole's communications. Tom Cruise's lawyers have denied that Tom personally requested any surveillance. However, multiple former Scientology executives have stated the church was monitoring her during this period. The alleged goal, according to former insiders, gather evidence that could be used to convince Tom that Nicole was working against his spiritual progress and the marriage itself. By 1999, the marriage was under severe strain, and according to former church members, Nicole had been labeled a suppressive person, Scientology terminology for someone who impedes another member's spiritual path. Mike Rinder explained what the suppressive person designation means in practice. A suppressive person in Scientology is someone who, at best, members are required to completely disconnect from. The label essentially demands total severance of contact. Former church members claim Nicole was designated an SP, though the church has never publicly confirmed this. According to Rathbun's account, Tom underwent intensive auditing sessions during this period. Whether Tom genuinely came to believe Nicole was a negative influence, or whether he was being guided toward that conclusion by an organization he'd trusted for over a decade, the outcome was clear. By early 2001, Tom decided to end the marriage. Lawrence Wright wrote in Going Clear, Cruise never offered a public explanation for the divorce, and Kidman herself was clearly surprised by his decision. According to Wright's reporting, Nicole pleaded with Tom to try marriage counseling, even offering to do so through church channels. Tom reportedly refused. His only public statement was cryptic. Nicole knew exactly why we are getting a divorce, but multiple sources suggest Nicole was blindsided by the sudden finality of Tom's decision. February 5th, 2001. Their spokesperson announces the separation. February 7th, 2001. Tom files for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. 2 months after Tom moved out, Nicole suffered a miscarriage. She revealed to Marie Claire years later, I had a miscarriage at the end of my marriage, combined with an ectopic pregnancy early in their marriage and doctors telling her natural conception was highly unlikely. This loss compounded the devastation. Nicole later spoke about the grief, that yearning. It's a huge, aching yearning. And the loss. The loss of a miscarriage is not talked about enough. That's massive grief to certain women. The famous photo of Nicole leaving her lawyer's office with her arms raised has been interpreted countless ways. The media saw celebration, but knowing the context, the miscarriage, the shock of the divorce, many have reinterpreted that moment as relief that a painful legal process was ending rather than joy that her marriage was over. Initially, Tom and Nicole maintained joint custody of Isabella and Connor, but as Nicole's demanding film schedule kept her traveling, the children spent increasing time with Tom. According to multiple reports, Tom's sisters, who are Scientologists, began homeschooling Isabella and Connor. The curriculum reportedly included Scientology teachings. The children also attended what's been described as a Scientology summer camp. By 2005, Isabella and Connor were living with Tom full-time by their own choice. According to Marty Rathbun's claims in Going Clear, this wasn't coincidental. Rathbun alleged that David Miscavige orchestrated what he described as a re-education program where the children were taught through auditing and church teachings to view Nicole as a suppressive person. In her 2016 book Troublemaker, Leah Remini recounted a 2006 incident when Isabella, then 14, allegedly called Nicole a fucking SP, using Scientology terminology to reject her own mother. The estrangement deepened. In 2015, Isabella married without inviting Nicole to the wedding. Connor's relationship with Nicole remained similarly distant. In 2018, Nicole addressed it carefully. They are adults, they are able to make their own decisions. They have made choices to be Scientologists, and as a mother, it's my job to love them. The carefully chosen words suggest acceptance of a painful reality. In May 2025, Nicole's Mother's Day tribute featured only her younger daughters with Keith Urban. Isabella and Connor were notably absent. 24 years after the divorce, the relationship remained strained. In 2004, Tom Cruise received the Freedom Medal of Valor, Scientology's highest honor. Mike Rinder observed, when Tom and Nicole divorced, Miscavige was reportedly pleased that what he viewed as Nicole's influence was gone. Cruise became more fervent in his public support of Scientology afterward. Tom's advocacy intensified dramatically. He jumped on Oprah's couch, criticized Brooke Shields for taking psychiatric medication, and became visibly closer to David Miscavige. When he married Katie Holmes in 2006, the pattern eventually repeated. 6 years later, Holmes filed for divorce. Multiple sources reported she was concerned about Scientology's influence on their daughter Suri's upbringing. In 2013 testimony, Tom confirmed Katie left him in part to protect Suri from Scientology. Katie reportedly acted swiftly, securing custody and ensuring Suri wouldn't face what had allegedly happened with Isabella and Connor. Tom hasn't been photographed with Suri in years. Whether you view Tom as someone manipulated by trusted advisors or as someone making calculated choices, the outcome in both marriages was similar. Scientology remains central, while family relationships fractured. For over 2 decades, Nicole Kidman has rarely addressed Scientology's role in her divorce. In interviews, she typically attributes the split to marrying young. "I was 23 and needed to grow up." But she's never publicly criticized the church or detailed what former members claim happened. The strategic reason seems clear. Speaking out would likely guarantee permanent estrangement from Isabella and Connor. Former members describe the church's policy as strict. Those who publicly criticize Scientology face mandatory disconnection from members who remain. Leah Remini's experience illustrates the cost. After leaving and writing Troublemaker, she lost relationships with people she'd known for decades. Anyone remaining in Scientology was reportedly required to cut contact. Nicole appears to have chosen silence over vindication, gambling that maintaining neutrality keeps the door open for potential reconciliation with her children. Whether that strategy will ever succeed remains uncertain, but the alternative, public criticism, would almost certainly close that door forever. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman didn't divorce simply because they grew apart or married too young. According to extensive reporting by Lawrence Wright, testimonies from former Scientology executives Mike Rinder and Marty Rathbun, and Leah Remini's accounts, their marriage became caught in a conflict between Nicole and an organization that former insiders say viewed her as a threat to Tom's commitment. The timeline former members describe: Nicole's father's profession in psychology created initial suspicion. The 1991 Time magazine expose intensified her doubts. During the Eyes Wide Shut filming, she allegedly encouraged Tom to distance himself from the church. Former members claim Scientology responded with surveillance and intensive auditing sessions designed to convince Tom she was a negative influence. By 2001, Tom filed for divorce. After the split, according to multiple accounts, Isabella and Connor were raised within Scientology while Nicole remained outside the organization. Whether through direct teaching or simply growing up immersed in a system that viewed their mother as suppressive, the children became estranged from Nicole. Tom received Scientology's highest honor 3 years after the divorce. His advocacy intensified. When his marriage to Katie Holmes ended with similar dynamics, her reported concern about Scientology's influence on Suri, the pattern echoed Nicole's experience. Was Tom manipulated by an organization that had shaped his identity since his 20s? Or did he make conscious choices to maintain his standing with Scientology over his family relationship? The truth likely exists somewhere in that complicated middle ground. But the cost was borne primarily by Nicole, losing not just her marriage, but her daily relationship with the children she'd adopted as babies. For 24 years, Nicole has navigated an impossible situation, wanting reconciliation with Isabella and Connor, while knowing that publicly challenging the organization they've chosen could eliminate any hope of that happening. The real reason Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman divorced comes down to competing forces: a wife who former members say tried to pull him away from Scientology, and an organization that wouldn't tolerate losing their most valuable celebrity advocate. When those forces collided, Tom made his choice. Whether you see him as a victim of manipulation or a willing participant, the outcome remains the same. Nicole lost her marriage, and for more than 2 decades, her relationship with her children. Do you think Tom was manipulated by Scientology, or was he complicit in what happened? Drop your thoughts below.